In today's video, we're going to be covering how to measure marketing success. Are you focusing on the wrong metrics for your marketing strategy? Let's take a look. As we start out the video, we're going to be looking at the context under which you're looking at measuring your success. What do you measure it up against? We're going to be talking about how your success metrics are going to change based on where a customer is at or what part of your customer journey you're looking at. And finally, we're going to be making sure you're not focusing on the wrong metrics for your marketing strategy. Let's dive in. Context is key when we're talking about measuring success. And the reason that I say that is a lot of times we are given very good advice, but without the right context or without the right building blocks, it's worse advice than deliberately bad advice. And so I always want to take a look at the building blocks and what the context is for us before I go about saying these are the things that we should measure. But what I do want to tell you is if you are measuring nothing in your marketing, then you don't have any data and you don't have any spots wherein you can improve and show a measurable success there. So I want to be careful about telling you what things to look out for and what things that you should measure. However, you should be measuring something. And so that's going to be super critical. I also think it's critical at this point to tell you that a lot of the ways that you're going to measure this is using an actual CRM system so that you can see the metrics and be able to see whether or not they are going up or down. Different parts of your customer journey are going to require you to look at different metrics. I'm going to try and help and give you some starting points. These aren't the only things that you should be looking out for in there. It's just a good starting point. So let's start first with advertising. Within the advertising channel, I want you to think of the different places that people are seeing your content and engaging with it. So if we're running an ad, then we want to look at things like cost per click and click-through rates. However, if we're talking about the advertising channel is a speaking spot on stage, then maybe the unit of measure that we want to look at is how many people in attendance versus how many people scanned my QR code. If I was looking at a social media post, then I might look at that and say, how many people engaged or answered the question that I asked, or how many views did that video get? So again, it does somewhat depend on that, but depend on the advertising channel that you are utilizing. But just as a good unit of measure there is how many impressions or how many people saw the thing versus how many opted in and moved forward to the next step. So those rates are going to be pretty critical for you. The next area is our marketing and what do we want to look at there? So one of the big ones that I personally look at is I look at email open rates. I look at the amount of clicks that I got per email. What does that click tell me in addition to the open rates? How many people am I getting from my opt-in page to my thank you page to perhaps a secondary call to action? If I have a video on that page, how many people, how long are they watching the video for? So these types of metrics can really help you to enhance and see, boy, maybe this email is too long or maybe it's too short and it's not providing people with enough information. So again, we can pull those out. When we're talking about sales pipeline, that has a few different metrics that you can look at, but the two key areas that I would look at is it depends on whether or not you have a consultative business or a direct to purchase. If I'm looking at direct purchase, I want to look more at how many people are in abandoned cart sequences. Do I have a conversion rate out of there? How many people are buying? At what price point are they buying? If I have a consultative business, how many people are showing up on the call? How many people do I need to talk to in order to convert into a sale? And so on. So you will want to have these different metrics at different parts of that customer journey in order to measure the success. Finally, I think that it's really important to make sure that the metric that you're trying to measure matches what the goal of that thing is. If our goal is brand awareness, then I don't want to necessarily be all that concerned with how much revenue I got. No, instead what I want to look at is impressions, or I want to watch video playthrough times. I want to see how much interaction I'm getting online. So again, that unit, if again it's brand awareness, I just don't want to solve for how much money I got. Likewise, if I am most concerned about revenue, then the amount of impressions I get really shouldn't matter to me. And the reason that I say that is a lot of people could be impressions on a specific post or on an email, but if they're not my ideal client and they are not going to produce the revenue, or they aren't right for the product that I'm trying to measure revenue on, then it doesn't really matter what they did in there. So again, I think it's important to understand what the overall goal is and then backtrack into the metrics that you want to see success. If you want to learn more about how to refine your customer journey and the metrics that you should use to measure your own success, then check out this video here where we talk all about how to create your customer journey map.